What's up, beautiful people? My name's Loz, and today we're talking about the glorious county of Cornwall in the UK. I've got some beautiful places to share with you, so here's my Cornwall top 10. Cornwall is the county right at the southwest tip of Great Britain, known for its rugged coastline, picturesque villages and dramatic locations. From a theatre carved out of the cliffside to views of seals bobbing in the sea, Cornwall is bound to capture a piece of your heart and leave you itching to go back. First up, we have St Michael's Mount, a tidal island dominated by a medieval castle dating back to the 12th century. It's managed by the National Trust and open to the public, allowing visitors to explore its rich history and breathtaking views of the Cornish coast. Film fans will likely recognise this spot as it's featured in Dracula, Johnny English and even James Bond. But when we were there, it was being used for the Game of Thrones prequel series, House of the Dragon. If the tide's low, you can make your way along the causeway from the nearby town of Marazion. It's about half a mile, so it'll take you around 10 minutes to walk. Between the 1st of October and the 30th of April, access to the harbour and village is free for all and no tickets are required. To explore the castle or to go in the summer season, you'll need to book a castle ticket online in advance. National Trust members get in for free, adults are £15 and children are £7.50, unless they're under 5, in which case they're free. There are also family tickets available, and bear in mind that if the water's high and you need to take a boat across, then this will cost a few pounds more each too. Up next is Port Isaac, a charming fishing village on the north coast of Cornwall. It has a rich history, but recently it's probably best known for being the setting of the popular television show Doc Martin. There's quaint roads and alleyways with traditional Cornish whitewashed cottages lining the streets. Take in the beautiful sea views, and then when you fancy a break, grab a cider and sit with it on the beach. With the southwest coast path passing right through the village, Port Isaac is a popular destination for walkers. There's longer hikes with stunning coastal views, or you can do like we did and enjoy a short climb up to a perfectly placed bench overlooking the village. As you can imagine, Port Isaac is known for its fishing industry, and after burning those calories walking, you'll deserve a delicious meal from one of the range of restaurants serving up freshly caught fish and seafood. Without a doubt, you'll be pleased to stop by and experience the charm and beauty of this traditional Cornish fishing village. Number 3 is the Minack Theatre, one of Cornwall's most unique and stunning cultural attractions. This open-air theatre is carved into the cliffs overlooking Porthcurno Beach and is truly a sight to behold. It was built in the 1930s and is now run by a charitable trust. Adult entry is £9 and under 16s are half price. It hosts a range of performances from Shakespeare to modern plays, concerts and even comedy shows. The theatre is set in beautiful gardens and there's a museum on site which tells the fascinating story of its creation. With its dramatic backdrop and unique setting, the Minack Theatre definitely offers an unforgettable experience. After getting your cultural fill, you can spend some time at one of Cornwall's most iconic beaches, Porthcurno Beach, which is just round the corner. Nestled in a sheltered bay and surrounded by towering cliffs, this is a perfect swim spot, with crystal clear waters and white sand. We honestly felt like we could have been abroad whilst we were there. Next, we're heading to Lizard Point, the southernmost point of mainland Britain. Renowned for its breathtaking views of the Atlantic Ocean and rugged cliffs, it's a paradise for hikers, birdwatchers and nature enthusiasts. When we were there, it was a super windy day, but we loved walking right down to the old lifeboat station and up to the water's edge where we were able to spot seals swimming nearby. You can stop for a pasty at Britain's most southerly cafe, or if you've got your own packed lunch, you can do as we did and follow the southwest coast path until you find a nice spot for a picnic. Just a little further along the coast is Kynance Cove, which is very possibly my favourite beach in the whole country. As soon as we arrived, we could see why Kynance Cove is one of Cornwall's most beautiful and most photographed beaches. It took a few minutes to walk from the car park, and whilst it wasn't too far, the route was a little rocky and uneven, so it may not be accessible for everyone. There were quite a lot of people about generally and in the cafe, but we were lucky that there were very few others actually on the beach itself while we were there, although it was May, so I imagine it can get a lot busier in the summer. There are plenty of opportunities to explore with caves and rock formations, or if you just fancy going for a quick paddle, then you can certainly do that too. We also took a short walk up to higher ground for views of the Cerulean Sea below and of Asparagus Island, another tidal island which is named for a rare wild asparagus found there. Despite its popularity, I'm pleased to say that Kynance Cove remains unspoilt, and a visit to this gorgeous beach is one of my all-time top recommendations for Cornwall. At number 6 we have Godrevy Point and Mutton Cove, two stunning locations right next to each other back on the north coast of Cornwall. Godrevy Point is a beautiful headland with spectacular views of the Atlantic Ocean. The lighthouse on the point is a popular subject to photograph, and I can personally recommend it as a great spot for sunset. Just a short walk from Godrevy Point is Mutton Cove, a popular location for smugglers during the 18th century. Now it's known as a great place to spot seals at low tide. We didn't get there super early, but apparently when it's hot and sunny, the seals typically leave the beach each morning by 7 or 8 am at the latest. They'll gradually return to the sand in the late afternoon or early evening once the shade or the tide has cooled off the sand. It may come as no surprise to any of you at this point that both Godrevy Point and Mutton Cove are on the southwest coast path, and so it goes without saying that you can enjoy stunning walks along the coastline here too. Next up is St Ives, a popular, picturesque seaside town. Parking in St Ives can be tricky, even on quiet days, so we opted for the park and ride option, which meant catching the train from St Ives station in Hale. The 15-minute journey is worth doing for the views alone, as you'll travel right alongside Carbis Bay and then on to St Ives. Being right on the sea, there's naturally some lovely beaches, with some good for swimming and relaxing, and then others where you'll find whole surf schools taking advantage of the waves. There's also art galleries or studios, or if you're like us, you may just want to get lost wandering the streets for a while. Stop for a pasty with beautiful views, or head to a cafe for a coffee and cake. Just make sure to watch out for the menacing seagulls. One of them was eyeing up my pasty, and we saw another steal a slice of pizza right from a lady's hand. We had a tasty Cornish gin as golden hour brought a glorious glow over the town, and there's a decent selection of restaurants to have your dinner in. We opted to go to the Chippy instead, and sat with chips on the beach as the sun went down. For legends of King Arthur, stunning views, and perhaps the best pasties in Cornwall, there's Tintagel. One of the main attractions is the Tintagel Castle, which is perched on a rocky outcrop overlooking the sea. The castle is steeped in myth and legend, with some claiming that it was the birthplace of King Arthur himself. Now, it's owned by William, Prince of Wales, and managed by English Heritage, and if you want to have a closer look, it's £16 for an adult, £9.50 for a child, and under 5s go free. Other than the castle, there's beautiful beaches and scenic coastal walks, and you may even want to spend a night or two in the Camelot Castle Hotel. We picked up a couple of pasties from the Penjenna Pasties Bakery, and they were the best we had whilst we were in Cornwall, but apparently they weren't proper Cornish pasties, as they weren't crimped on the side. The story goes that the wives of the Cornish tin miners would lovingly make their husbands a pasty for their lunch. Being crimped on the side gave a crust, which served as a means of holding the pasty with dirty hands, and this meant that they didn't contaminate their meal with potentially arsenic-ridden fingers, which was a common substance in the tin mines. And on that note, we head to Wheal Prosper, a mine back down on the south coast of Cornwall. Intended to extract tin and copper, the mine was never very successful and only remained in operation for 6 years from 1860. Despite its brief existence, the engine house that remains is an impressive sight. From this vantage point, you can take a few minutes to sit back and take in the brilliant views of the sparkling waters of the cove below, and then if you fancy heading to somewhere more built up, you can go to Porthleven, which is only 3 miles away. And finally, we have Land's End, the westernmost point of mainland England. This iconic location divides opinion, as some see it as a bit of a money trap, with a £6 charge for parking and even more if you want to have your photo next to the sign. There's a range of attractions, shops and eateries which could make it a good option if you want a family day out. We didn't pay for the photos next to the sign and instead took our own, then went for a little walk. Although it was cool to see the sign that's on all the pictures, the walk was actually our favourite thing here. We went past Grebe Farm, which had a range of cute animals, and then we went on along the coast. We ended up at a hidden gem called Tintagel Beach. Might be butchering the name there, but this was where there was only a few other people and the colour of the water was simply beautiful. Unfortunately, it started pelting it down with rain when we were there, but on a sunny day, this would be a top recommendation for a beach in Cornwall that's off the beaten track. And there we have 10 of the top things to do on your next trip to Cornwall. Let us know down in the comments if you're visiting or if you've already been and think somewhere else deserves a place on this list too. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like and consider checking out my Cornwall playlist for more tips and locations to visit in the area. Come and say hello over on Instagram and subscribe to see more. Thank you so much for watching. Big love, and it feels good around here.